In this video, you'll learn how to update an existing table to add a new column, add data to it, and view this column. This is part 3 in the Introduction to PostgreSQL tutorial, so check out parts 1 and 2 if you haven't already. Let's get started by opening pgAdmin, the SQL editor that we're using to work with the Postgres database. Open a new tab for writing SQL by clicking this button here. At the end of part 2, we had a product table with two columns called product name and price. We can run a select statement to view this data. Write a select statement to see these two columns and click Run. We can see the results here. If you want to set up this table and follow along, you can get the link to the SQL script in my GitHub repository in the description. Let's say we decide we want to capture whether a particular product is in stock. We need to have a column for this in our product table. One way to do this is to include a new column in our create table statement. Let's try that now. We can add another column to the list of columns inside the create table statement here. We'll call the column in stock, and we can store the value of yes if it is in stock or no if it's not in stock. Because we want to store the values of yes and no, we'll use a text data type, which will be varchar, just like the product name. We'll use a length of 3 because that's the most we need to capture. Once we've updated this create table statement, including adding a comma at the end of the price column because we're adding a column after it, we can run the statement. When we do, we see this error. Error relation product already exists. What does this mean? Well, it means that there's a table called product that already exists and the create table statement attempts to create the same table, which fails. The word relation is mentioned in the error because it's another word for table. So what can we do? We could delete the table and recreate it, but then we would lose all of the data. Is there a way we can make a change to a table that already exists? Yes, there is. There's another type of statement called alter table. This alter table statement can be used to make changes to the structure of the table itself. There are many things you can do with this statement, and one of those is adding a new column to an existing table. It's different to the update statement we learned about in the previous video, because update will change data in a table, and alter table will change the table itself. Let's try an alter table statement to add this new column. We start with the words alter table. Then we specify the table name, which is product. Then we add the words add column. The word column is actually optional, so you can just use the word add. But I like to use the word column here to make it clear we're adding a column. Then we specify the column name we want to add, which is in stock. Next, we specify the data type, which is varchar 3 for this new column. We end with a semicolon. Our statement is complete. We don't see any red lines that would indicate we've got something wrong, so let's run this statement. We can see the words alter table here and see the output says query returned successfully. So that's worked. Let's see what's in this column. We'll run the select query from before. Here are our results. We can see the product name and price. Where is the new column? Well, the new column is in the table, but our select statement only refers to the product name and price columns. We haven't said that we want to see it, so it's not shown. We can update our query to add in the new column called in stock. Now we can run the query and see in the results that the new column is shown. We can see the heading of in stock, and underneath we can see the data type of character varying 3, which is another name for the varchar that we used. For each row, this column shows a value of null. Why is that? It's because we haven't added any data to the new column. We added the column, but we didn't say what the values should be. We can update the data in this column by running an update statement. Let's write an update statement, which we learned about in the previous lesson. We write update product, then the word set. Then we add the column we want to update, which is in stock. Then we add an equal sign, then the value we want to use. What do we want to update our data to? Let's say we want to say that both the jeans and shirt products are in stock. So we say set in stock equals yes. Then we add a where clause to say where product name is jeans or product name is shirt. Make sure that the values in the where clause are inside single quotes because they are text values. We can use the where clause like this if we want to specify two conditions. In this case, we set it to yes if either of the two conditions are true. Let's run this statement. We run it and see it is successful. Now we can select our data again to see what it looks like. We can see that both the jeans and shirt rows have an in-stock value of yes, and the other records still have a value of null. This is okay because we only wanted to update those two rows. You may also notice the order of the results is different. The rows we updated are now at the bottom. Why is that? Well, a select query like this doesn't guarantee that the results are shown in a specific order. There is a way to do this, which we'll learn about in a future lesson. But with a query like this, it will just return results in no particular order. It may have been the order the data was inserted, and now it looks like it's the order it was updated, but this is not guaranteed. When we used the alter table statement, we specified the data type, which was varchar3. What if we later realise we wanted to use a different data type, such as changing a text to a number? Or if we wanted to make it longer, such as from 3 characters to 10? We can use the alter table statement to modify a column that already exists. Let's say for our example that instead of capturing yes or no for a product being in stock, we want to capture the number of items in stock. So this would be a number instead of a text value. Let's write an alter table statement to make this change. Our statement looks like this. We say alter table, then product, then the words alter column to specify we want to change an existing column. Then we specify the column name, which is in stock. Then the type keyword, then the new data type, which is integer. We can run this statement, which should change the column from a varchar to a number column. We can see the output here, which shows an error. It says that the column cannot be cast automatically to type integer. Normally, when we change the data type, the database attempts to convert the existing data into the new data type. However, our column currently has values of yes, which is a text value that can't be changed to a number. We can fix this by updating our in-stock values to use a number value in the existing varchar column and then run this alter table statement. Let's do that now. We can run one update statement to set the in-stock value to say 10 for jeans and 4 for shirt. We run these statements which are successful. Let's try the alter table statement again. It fails with the same error. In Postgres, to make this change to the data type, we can follow the hint that's specified here. We need to explicitly say that a conversion should happen. So after the alter table, we add using in stock, then 2 colons, then integer. Let's run this again. We can see it is successful. Let's select from the table to see what it shows. We can run the same select query as before and see the results here. We see some rows have null and others have the values that we updated earlier. We can also see that the column heading of in stock now shows a data type of integer, which is the new data type. So we've managed to alter the data type of this column and not lose the data. The alter table statement is pretty useful and there are a lot of things it can do. We'll learn more about it later in this video series. So now we've learned how to add and edit columns within a table. Check out the next lesson for creating a second table and relating it to the first table. If you want to learn more about database design and SQL, visit my website at databasestar.com. If you like this video, consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching.